I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya.
It's a very exciting project coming to the community.
That's Flagler County Economic Development Director Helga Van Eckert talking about a deal dubbed Project Columbus. Van Eckert, who can't yet name the company, says the furniture and assembly distribution plant would have a huge impact on Flagler County.
The company is going to be constructing a 250,000 square foot facility on the west side along Route 1, which would be the largest facility we have in the county. They'll be locating their company there and creating around about 50 jobs.
To lure the company here, Flagler County government is planning to give it $680,000 in incentives over the next decade in exchange for the company's $13 million capital investment.
After the taxes are paid, the building is built and occupied. The county portion would be reimbursed for the first 2 years at 100% and then reimbursed every other year for the next 10 years at a declining percentage from 100% to 80% to 60% to 40%.
If all goes through, it would be the largest incentive package ever offered by the county.
This portion of Flagler's Morning News brought to you by the Daytona Beach International Airport, Delta Airlines nonstop to Atlanta, and now nonstop service to New York City via American Airlines.
A routine traffic stop sends a convicted felon back to prison. Tony Magoo reports.
Just after 11 o'clock Thursday night, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office Problem Area Crime Enforcement Unit stopped a vehicle on Butternut Avenue and Hickory Street in Bunnell. A canine unit alerted his handler to the possibility of narcotics inside that vehicle. Deputies ordered the driver, 34-year-old Adam Jordan, out of the vehicle, and a search turned up a loaded weapon, methamphetamine, and a baggie that contained heroin. Jordan was charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, carrying concealed, possession of controlled substances, and resisting arrest without violence. He was then booked into the Sheriff Perry Hall inmate detention facility, where he's being held on a $21,500 bond. Jordan has previous convictions in Flagler County for burglary of an occupied dwelling, armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm, grand theft of a motor vehicle, and felony battery. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
A Palm Coast man faces drug charges after he's nabbed in North Carolina. The Robeson County Sheriff's Office pulled over 43-year-old Orlando Lopez Friday night for a traffic violation as he was driving on I-95. Deputies say a search of his vehicle turned up nearly 100 grams of cocaine and 35 grams of meth. He faces 4 counts of drug trafficking and possession with intent to sell. He's behind bars on $250,000 bail. Despite major construction, officials in Flagler Beach are reminding area residents that the community is open for business. John Arking has more.
Small business owners in Flagler Beach have had issues as the reconstruction project continues on State Road A1A as potential customers get caught in the backups, but most admit they know they're suffering now to enjoy much greater benefit later once the work is completed. But in the meantime, the message from officials is that the inconvenience is small and that business in Flagler Beach is ready to serve customers. Mayor Linda Provencher.
The construction is going along the way it should be. People have to go down Central Avenue on the south end of town to get to some of these merchants, but they do have their back entrances open, so they are able to get to them. And we are going to start allowing more signage out there, so people looking for a business or just driving down Central will see those signs and hopefully stop. We have a ton of good restaurants and shops. We have an unobstructed view of the beach, so come to Flagler Beach.
The $22.4 million project will permanently repair a 1.4-mile segment of A1A between South 9th Street and South 22nd Street that was severely damaged by Hurricane Matthew. There'll also be dune rehabilitation and added vegetation along a 1-mile stretch of the roadway between South 28th and South 22nd Street, and a seawall is being built between North 18th Street and Osprey Drive in Beverly Beach. The entire project should be done by early next year. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
Did you see the bear? He was there.
Steve Williams with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office said the bear probably came from Brevard County. Williams and Eric Mead from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission said Florida's bear population has grown over the years.
The population grew from as few as 300 bears in the 1970s, and they're estimating the population to be more than 4,000 today.
That's in the state.
Yeah.
State. We do have a good population in Flagler. More west of the old brick road, there's a lot of bears out that way.
Williams said the bear sightings here means that the bears are trying to find their way, but they're having to deal with humans in their way. You can hear the full interview on the Flagler Radio app. Download the Flagler Radio app today. Tomorrow, Steve Williams talks about the Florida Agricultural Crime Intelligence Unit. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.